What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. So, we got some news today that they're going to start working on my grandmother's roof after the holidays. They kept swearing to us that it was going to be fixed before Christmas, and now it's not going to be fixed until after the holidays. Yay! So, Nana won't be returning until after they get done with the construction because she's got breathing problems like I do. I have allergy problems, and I am going through it with my allergies as winter is here. This is my I'm mama bear, and I hibernate in the winter because I get bronchitis and I've got pneumonia, I've got asthma. So because I'm asthmatic or seasonal asthmatic, it's easy for me to get bronchitis and stuff and everything else. So it's like, oh. Anyway, so on this video, I had just learned this myself. So, sort of. So I knew what a personal financial portfolio was, but I didn't know that in order to buy a piece of real estate or property, that you needed to have 20% of the total purchase in liquid assets in order to get approved. So I was like, so I was sitting there, I was looking it up because I'm looking up, oh my God, my nose. I was looking up like how to buy property and everything to like rebuild my financial portfolio and rebuild my life. So I learned earlier today that you need to have 20% of whatever the total amount is in liquid assets in order to purchase it, to make it an easy purchase without all the hassle, the red tape, and all that stuff. So, and to help you get an easier approval. So, this is stuff that they don't teach you when you're growing up in the hood or you're growing up in, a white, poor, middle class family. You don't talk about, FICO scores or how to buy land or, how to buy a house or how to save money, except for my mom. Well, that's where my mom is different. My mom has always been on us about having a safety nest egg and having all of your, not having all of your eggs in one basket, which we'll get to in a little bit. So, like growing up, my mom was always like, you don't need to depend on no man because one, he could die tomorrow. He could have a heart attack. He can have a stroke. He can get hit by a bus. It doesn't matter. Like, just because you're married does not guarantee you financial stability or that you're going to be taken care of long after your husband is gone if you are not involved in the finances. If you are not involved in the finances and you don't know where every dollar is going, then that is an easy way for you to get screwed. So, when you're rebuilding, okay, so this is for women who have already gotten out of a domestic violence situation, have already left, and are already rebuilding. So when you start to want to purchase your own house, like, you got your FICO score up, you're getting, money saved. Because when you first get out, the first things you need to do is you need to get your FICO score up. Secondly, when you get out, you need to start hoarding and saving money any and every way that you can. So my mom was like, growing up, always have a safety nest egg, for an emergency fund. Always make sure, you're prepared because he could die, or he could get hit by a car, or he could leave you for another woman. You never know what a man's gonna do. So for women, always have your own. So I was looking up earlier because I'm getting ready to buy some property, and it was talking about liquid assets. And it said that, if you're going to buy a piece of property, you need to have at least 20% of whatever the total amount is in liquid assets. So, what are liquid assets? So, on a personal balance sheet, the balance sheet offers a snapshot of your financial position, for what your financial position is now and what you want your financial position to be in 10 years. Okay? And it tells you what your financial position is, detailing assets of what you own and liabilities of what you owe to calculate your net worth. So it takes your assets versus your liabilities to calculate what your net worth is. Okay, so assets. What are assets, ladies? Assets is cash and money in your bank accounts, your checking and your savings, your retirements, your stocks, bonds, mutual funds, retirement accounts like a 401k through your job, an IRA, on Charles Schwab, Acorns, whatever you use to invest in, that is an asset. Anything that makes you money is an asset. Anything that costs you money is a liability. Real estate is an asset. Personal property of significant value, vehicles, art, jewelry, collapsibles, those are assets. Anything you can sell to make you money and to make you cash is an asset. Cash value of life insurance policies. If you have a life insurance policy that offers a cash value, that life insurance policy is also an asset. Sorry, I got the hiccups. And I just ate Chick-fil-A. Liabilities, outstanding debts, and financial obligations. Liabilities are mortgages and home equity loans, credit cards and balances, student loans, personal loans, auto loans, unpaid taxes or alimony, child support obligations. Okay, so then what is your net worth? Okay, ladies, your net worth is calculated as a total assets minus total liabilities. A positive net worth means you own more than you owe, while a negative net worth indicates the opposite, that you owe more than you're worth. Personal, which I just learned that too, by the way. Okay, personal income cash flow statements. Okay, a personal income cash flow statements is an income source and expenses over a specific period to determine a net cash flow. Income is anything that's money coming in. Wages, salary, commission. Income from self-employment or side gigs, Lyft, DoorDash, whatever. Interest and dividends from investments, rental income. Expenses is money going out. That is taxes, insurance, premiums, mortgages, rent payments, loan payments, credit cards, student loans, auto loans, living expenses, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Why you need one? Why do you need a personal financial statement? Assessing financial health is to gain a clearer picture of where you stand to make informed decisions. Securing financing. Lenders such as bank or the SBA typically require a PFS sheet, personal financial statement, PFS sheet, when you apply for a mortgage, a personal loan, a business loan, to assets, your credit worthiness, and ability to repay the loan. Goal setting and planning. To set realistic goals for saving, investing, or retirement. And monitor your progress over time. There are templates on how to do a cash spreadsheet analysis and a personal statement template. So I'm going to bring this up real quick. Let's see if I can get this to come up and show you what a personal financial statement is. I did like a small one earlier, but I don't want to post mine because it's got all my stuff on it. Template gallery. Here we go. Mine's already filled out, so I don't want to share mine. Let's see. Financial projections, startup expenses, opening day balance sheet spread, online small business tool. Let's see, this is not what I was looking for. Let's see. Let's see. Personal financial statement PDF. So I'm going to show you what a personal financial statement looks like via PDF. Okay. All right, so I'm going to flip my phone around real quick, okay? All right, so this is the personal financial statement. This is income, expenses. And then if you go down, this is what a personal financial statement looks like. Personal financial statement has your name, date of birth, social security number, address, your rent, your own, married, spousal information, financial information, checking account balance, savings balance, life insurance, cash balance, stocks and bonds, and your vehicle is, how much your vehicle is worth. This is your assets. Your liabilities, bank loans, real estate mortgages, personal lines of credit. This is how much your balance owes. This is how much you pay monthly. This is accounts and notes receivable. This is your credit card, Citibank, Amex, how much your credit limit is, how much your balance is, and what your monthly payment is. And then if you go down, it says personal financial statement, assets, checking, cash, certificates of deposit, security bonds, mutual funds, notes, and contracts receivable, life insurance, personal property, retirement funds, IRAs, real estate, other assets. Liabilities is current debt, credit cards, accounts, notes, taxes, real estate, mortgages, etc. Cash and accounts, and your bank accounts, your investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and you would. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Well, anyway, so then it's going to go to cash on hands, certificates, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, IRAs, 401ks, 403s, 457s. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. Automobiles, recreational vehicles, home furnishings, appliances, collectibles, jewelry, fur, etc. And your total personal property. And then if we get out of here and we go back to it. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, so then this is a different type of personal financial statement. This one just has checking, cash, time deposit, securities, notes, life insurance, whatever, assets. This one's just divided into assets, and this one's divided into liability. So let's say their assets are 2,738,000, but their liabilities are 1,191,000. That means that their net worth is only 1,547,000. You see how your assets versus your liability equal up your net worth. And that is pretty much like what you need to do to like break down like what your financial circumstances are right now versus what you want your financial circumstances to be in the next 2 to 3 years. Let's keep the goal small. Because if I say 10 to 20 years, you're going to freak out and you're going to give up. And you're going to be like, I might not even be alive in 10 to 20 years. You're right, you might not be. But your heirs, hopefully your heirs will be. So start off small with small goals. Like, this is what I want to be financially in a year. And this is what I financially want to be in 2 years. This is where I financially want to be in 5 years. 5 to 10 year plans are more reasonable to hit your time goal, time-wise, as far as it is to get to your goal. But realistically, if you think 5 to 10 years, your psyche, you're going to psych yourself out. You're like, 5 to 10 years? What the heck? And so I keep my goals small, like 1 to 2 years or 3 years. I do everything in 1 to 3 years increments. Like, this is where I want to be in this time next year. This is where I want to be in 2 years. This is where I want to be at in 3 years. And this is what I want to do, to get to where I want to be. So now that I have picked out the piece of property that I want to purchase, now I've got to come up and make sure and do my financial statement to make sure I have 20% of liquid assets to cover that expense, to show that even if something were to happen, that the loan would still be able to be paid back. It's a guaranteed way to show that even if something happens, they have a way to make their money back. because they're loaning you money. And you still have to pay back that money. So even if something goes wrong and you have like a hump in the road, you have a way to pay back that money. So you have to make sure you have a secure 20% in liquid assets to cover the cost of the property you want to purchase. So before you even decide on a property to purchase, you should do your personal financial statement and then say, okay, this is where I'm at financially now. And then now I want to buy this piece of property, or start buying real estate, to put real estate in my financial portfolio and on my personal financial statement, so me and my kids will be okay. So, because we got to have a home too, even though the dad's got to have a home, so does mom. Big mama got to have a home too, honey. Big mama got to have a home too. So you got to say, okay, so now I have this amount, or whatever. And then now I'm doing my financial spreadsheet. My financial sheet says that I'm worth this much. So whatever you're worth, say that's 20% of in liquid assets what you're allowed to buy in property. So say if you're buying a $50,000 piece of raw land, you got to have 20% of that 50,000 in a liquid asset to secure the loan, to make sure that that loan is getting paid back. So 20% of that 50,000 you would have to have 20% in liquid assets to purchase that loan, to purchase that land. Unless you do like a rent to own land deal, or owner financing. Owner financing is another good way to buy real estate, owner financing. But even with owner financing, you got the down payment and the closing costs or whatever. So, or you have the closing payment, all that stuff. So even with owner financing. So, but you want to at least have 20% in liquid assets for whatever the amount of property you're trying to get. And I just found that out today. I never knew that before, but I just found that out today. But it's also a safety egg. It's a safety egg for you, and it's also a safety egg for the bank that is loaning you the money, because now you don't have to worry about losing your property, because you have that 20% in stocks and bonds and mutual funds that you can sell to cover a hardship. Now, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to sell it to cover a hardship, or to even pay off the land itself one day, maybe early, and cut some of the finance charges out and cut the interest charges down. If you paid the loan off early, then of course, that's less interest you have to pay. So to start off with getting yourself on track today, ladies, after losing everything, and you're finally getting to a place where you just are tired of not having your shit together, and you want to get your shit together, and you want to keep your shit together. So this is walk with me, take this journey with me, and we will do this together. Like, walk with me, and we will build and go through this journey together. And we will keep it interactive with each other. Like, you can message me about, your tips and things that you've learned. I'll keep sharing things that I've learned. We can network and grow and get our shit together and keep our shit together permanently. Both of us at the same time. I know I'm not the only woman out there that's ever been done wrong by a man and that's ever been hurt and hit and then was told that you were to blame for everything. No woman should ever be hurt and hit and then told she's to blame for everything. No, you're not to blame for his inability to control himself. You're not to blame for his inability to control himself. And yes, you're allowed to leave. And yes, you deserve to be loved correctly. Now, in these videos, though, I will say, I am not going to teach you how to make $1 million. I'm not even probably ever going to make $1 million. But what we can do together and what we can network with is starting from nothing. And anybody who is at nothing knows there is only one way to go from the bottom, and that's up. Once you've hit rock bottom, there's nothing else to hit. There's just up. You got to go up from there. Like, you got to build, you got to get your shit back. You got to go up. Once you've hit rock bottom and you can't fall any further, there's only one way up. So you already know which direction you're going in. You already know which direction you're going in. You just got to figure out how to pick yourself up off the ground and how to get there. So I cannot promise you, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to teach you how to get rich. But what I will teach you is how to get on your feet and to stay on your feet. I got a lot of military friends, a lot of cop friends, a lot of reputable people. I got some friends who are therapists. I got some friends who are all kinds of different things that I've made over the years since I've left my husband and all of them. So all I have to say is, since I left my husband and all of them, I made a lot of really cool people to network with in different states and in different places. Definitely not in Georgia. But, I don't know. So many women over here are kind of crazy about the kid. But anyway, so, I met a lot of people all over the place, and that taught me a lot of cool stuff, and that helped me along the way. So whatever I learn, I will pass on to you guys, and if you learn anything cool, pass it along to me. I don't know everything either. I'm learning as I'm going how to get on my feet and to get my shit together and to keep my shit together. Some moves I've made on my own. A lot of moves I've made on my own. But, some moves I've made on my own and some moves people have helped me with. But, just figure out what your niche is and what works for you. No, not everybody's a writer like me. I like to write. You might be a doctor. You might be a singer. You might be a warehouse worker, but be the best damn warehouse worker you can be. You might be a judge, leaving your powerful senator husband, but be the best damn fucking judge you can be. You might be the McDonald's girl fixing my quarter pounder, but be the best damn McDonald's girl you ever could be. People bless people in small places too. We all need each other and we all help each other. Nobody gets there alone. The rich need us small people to help keep them rich, and us small people need the rich people to help give us jobs, and, my little 9 to 5 and my little $300, $500 something dollar a week paycheck, but that's my $300, $500 something dollar a week paycheck, and I'm gonna pay my rent with a smile on my face. Yes, I am. So I mean, we all need each other, and we're all here for to help each other, and nobody gets to where they are alone. That's one thing I have definitely learned through all of this is nobody gets there alone. Nobody. You want to say you're self-made, but you're not. I mean, you do the work. You put in the money, you put in the time, you put in the work, you put in the hustle. But really it's your fans and the people that support your business that get you there. You know, the people that really just support you, whether they like your concept or like you as a person or like your branding structure, or, sometimes I'll just buy something at the store because I like the label, you know? And I think the label's cute. And I'm like, that's totally freaking cute. I want to try that. Oh my God. And if I like it, then I promo it and I keep it. And if I don't, then I don't. But, a lot of times I just buy people's stuff just because I like the branding style. It's, all depends on what your target demographic is. But anyway, so I was meant to making this short, but I've been on here like half an hour now. So anyway, like I said, you can walk through this journey with me. This is not a journey of where you're going to be made a millionaire and I'm going to make you a millionaire and I'm going to promise you all this shit and I'm going to try to sell you stuff and, take your money. No, that is not what this is. What this is a domestic assault victim who is rebuilding after a near death experience and leaving the only love I have ever known and having to rebuild my life without him. I was with him since we met when we were 15. Our families met when we were 15. And we got together, or we came back together when I was 19. We got married, or we moved in together when I was 20. We had our first child when I was 21. Our second kid when I was 22. And then Tito came, let's see, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. When I was 26 years old, I had my third and my last son. And I'm still young enough to be a hip ass grandmother and still wise enough to know better. I always tell my kids, I'm like, you think your mom don't know anything, but I'm old and wise because I once was young and stupid. Like, you're gonna hear all kinds of what people say, some wild shit about me. Some of it is probably true. Some of it is maybe probably not. I don't know. I've heard some made up stuff about me. So not all of it's true. But I have been known to do some really crazy shit. So, just, I am old and wise because I once was, young and stupid. And I'm surprised I made it this long. That is all I can say. When it comes to my kids, and I look back on my life, and if you would have talked to me a year or two ago, I still would have been a sobbing crybaby and wouldn't have really had much to say. But talking to me about it now doesn't bother me as much as it once did, a few years back. I think this year I just had a mental crack and a mental breakthrough. Like, I'm just over crying about it and just ready to move on. So, but that's what I just tell my kids, when they hear all this wild, crazy shit that their mom once did uh, back when I was younger. And, I was young and naive and impressionable and learning to become a woman and, learning how to be a woman in this world. And, I had a lot of more guy friends than girlfriends. And, I did some crazy shit back in the day. But I've never had an ex that I still to this day do not get along with. Even my husband, weirdly enough, with all the horrible bad shit he says about me, he still comes around to me. And sometimes I'll be weirdly sitting there looking at him like I don't know why. After all the horrible stuff I heard you say about me, like why you still come around. But I just sit here and I just think. But anyways, I have to ask him that sometimes because he said some very harsh and brutal shit. And I really haven't been very vocal about Bobby. And I don't really speak ill about Bobby. I just say the truth that he hit me and he tried to kill me. I mean, that's not me speaking ill of him. That was just me saying what had happened. But like even now, I don't talk bad about him. So sometimes I'm like, why do you still come around to me when you've said such horrible stuff about me to my mother and to like people who were my family and who knew me and like whatever. Like it takes two to make a relationship and it takes two to break one. Like you can't have a relationship all by yourself and you can't get a divorce all by yourself. Like takes two to make a relationship and two to break it. We all have our shortcomings and our faults. But yeah, so that's all I have to say when it comes to the wild shit that people hear that I once did is I'm old and wise because I once was terribly young and stupid and an adrenaline junkie and thought I was immortal and I was gonna live forever and nobody was like I thought I just didn't have that thing that told me I was in danger when I was younger. Like I was such an adrenaline junkie and with the boys and the car club and some of the places I would be seen in and everything with the guys that I hung out with, that it would be like, like you would hear like these stories, and it's like, yeah, I might have once did that. Or maybe once I didn't do that. I don't know. It just depends. But it's just like I used to hang out in some sketchy places and I've had some sketchy guy friends and I've hung out in a car club and been a member of a car club and did some wild crazy shit and was really reckless with my life. That's one thing I have to say. Like, when I was younger, I was such an adrenaline junkie. Like, I was such an adrenaline junkie. Like, I never thought about dying. And the possibility that I ever could die never even occurred to me until I almost actually did die. Is when I was like, wow, I really am mortal and I need to calm my ass down. Like way down. But because I do a lot of dangerous stuff with cars and things I shouldn't do sometimes. And sometimes I wonder why. But when you're young, you think you're immortal. When you're older, you know you're not immortal. But when you're young, you think you are immortal and you're going to live forever. And then you wake up one day and you're your parents' age and you're like having a midlife crisis and wondering how did you get here and how did you get to this place and when did you wake up and you're your parents' age and your life's not supposed to be this way. Where did you go wrong? Or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep this short because that was really kind of funny. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this for now because I want a cigarette as another reason why I'm such an adrenaline junkie. I smoke and like to gamble Russian roulette with my life. I don't know. Ha 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 ha. That was a joke. Get the innuendo. I have a weird sense of humor. I have to laugh about it. I have to. I have to laugh about it because I'm stuck with it. So because I'm stuck with it, I have to laugh about it. So it really is funny. Anyways, ladies, y'all keep it cool, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. But if you want to know how to get away from your gangster man, I will teach you how to get away from your gangster man. May we all get away from the gangster men's. Every woman wants a bad boy till she gets one. And when you got a bad boy, you realize having a bad boy ain't as fun as having a good man. Yeah. That's another realization I came to learn. Everybody thinks it's fun having a bad boy until you have a bad boy and then you wish you had a good man. Think about that one, ladies. I chose the good man, by the way, and I still got fucked. But truth be told, a bad boy is nothing compared to an incredibly good man to come home to every night. Nothing beats that. Peace.